What up, church? So I want to come on here before I close up for the day, and I won't be before you long. I just want to say this. I feel like I need to say this every once in a while. So probably every 3 months you'll hear me say this, okay? I can't stress this enough. Please, 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 from the bottom of my heart, seek therapy before you get married. Seek individual therapy where you go for yourself, and then seek marriage counseling where you go with your spouse. So you and your spouse go together. No harm against pastors. Seek professional marriage counseling from a professional and not just your pastor. Like, it's okay to have your pastor or people in the church do marriage counseling from a spiritual realm, but it's also important for you to do marriage counseling from a professional that can help you understand communication effective communication, okay? Because y'all, I'm telling y'all, I can't stress this enough. As a person that goes to therapy herself, understanding more about myself is super duper important. A lot of you guys, when you get married, or a lot of people, you don't even know who you are. Like, we don't know who we are. Like, I told somebody that today, like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like. I identify as titles and what society think of me, or the title that society put on me. And so now I'm in a place of life where I'm just like, who the hell is Danielle, and what does Danielle really like outside of being a therapist, outside of being a sister, outside of being a daughter? Like, society has put me in a box, and now I'm just like, I need to break out of this box. So I'm trying to find out who I really am and trying to experience the freedom of being who I am and accepting who I am. So a lot of people do not know that before going into marriage. And so you are identifying as these titles, and you have this logic of what you were taught, and you don't even really and truly know yourself. So that's why it's so important to go to therapy for self first, then understand self, then understand how to communicate self to others, and then do marriage counseling where you and your spouse can come together and understand each other's point of view. Like, y'all need to learn how to communicate. Like, communication is so important, and you need to learn each other communication styles. Like, a lot of times you just can't talk to people who are, their communication style, they communicate better through writing. Like, do you know that about your spouse? Do you know how they receive information? I'm pretty sure that you may not do that in pastoral counseling. So you need somebody who can really and truly break that down to you, and that's really and truly a therapist. Okay, let's talk about communication styles. How do you receive information? How do you receive love? Like, we have to go through all of that so that way you can stand on a strong foundation. Please stop saying that my grandmother and my grandfather, they've been married for 50 plus years. They did not have therapy and they made it, so I can do the same thing and I can make it. Back then, therapy was not a thing. Why would you want to live bare minimum when you can excel in life by going through therapy? And you can be better than what your grandmother and grandfather done. Yes, they laid the foundation. And yes, they did as good as they could do for their time. But you, yourself, and your spouse, y'all can do 10 times better because we're living in a whole different world. So why would you not go to therapy? Like, I can't stress that enough. Therapy for marriage, counseling, therapy for yourself. Like, it's, a lot of people are they're not emotionally intelligent. And I can say I have been that way to myself too. Like, I take offense easily, and that's not good for a marriage. I cannot be so offended easily and then get all in an uproar. Then I shut down. Then I don't talk. So now nobody is talking in the house. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not good for the household. Like, you have to be able to come together and you have to be able to talk about these things or whatever. But you're only going to learn those different type of things in therapy. Why go through hell when you can go and learn about it before it actually happen? Like, I cannot stress that enough. Individual therapy for yourself so that you can learn self and so that you can learn what makes you happy. Like, what really and truly makes you happy. I ask people all the time, tell me a little bit about yourself. And so they start rattling off, oh, I'm a nurse. Oh, I'm a mom. Oh, I'm a sister. Oh, I'm this. I don't know. That's not you. Tell me about you. Tell me what makes you happy. My kids make me happy. What make you happy outside these damn kids? Like, tell me that. What makes you happy outside of these kids? What makes you happy outside of your job? People can't even answer that. And if you cannot answer that, you need to go and find the answer. And a therapist can actually help you understand that. So that's why it's so important to go to therapy, so that it's so important that you can learn yourself outside of these kids, outside of these titles, outside of the husband. Like, so many people be like, I'm going to give myself to my husband, or I'm going to give myself to my wife, and I'm just going to forget about me. That's the biggest mistake that you can ever make in your life, is to throw you away and be that person, be that all to somebody else, even in marriage. That's the biggest mistake people make. And a lot of times it's at the expense of a woman. You give yourself all to your family, to your children, and you yourself be miserable because you did not think about self. And unfortunately, that's what we're taught. We're taught to give everything to everybody else. We're taught that. And then we don't have anything for ourselves. And it is a hard lesson to learn. So that's why I'm like, let's get it. Like, don't learn that the hard way. My mama say, boss sense is the best sense. Some of this stuff you don't have to buy with hardship, with problems. Like, some of this stuff you can go and learn about it before it happened and be like, shit, let me avoid that. Let me avoid that hard period. So, you know, you done gave yourself to your husband. You done gave yourself to your kids. So there's nothing left. You done gave up on all your hopes and dreams. So now you walking around, you got a whole attitude with the family, with your husband. And he like, what's wrong? What's wrong, babe? You like, I don't know. Then you come to therapy and I be like, what's wrong? I don't know. So now you're crying and I help you figure it out. It's because you had dreams, you had aspirations, but you gave it up. You gave it up for the family. And now the family didn't accomplish their dreams and their aspirations, and you over there looking like a fool. Don't do that. It's okay to have dreams and aspirations and to go and seek them and go and work them while you still a mom, while you still a wife. Like, you can still have those. Stop saying, oh, if I can't do this because I got to pick up these kids. Or stop saying I can't do that because I got to do this, I got to do this. Where's husband at? Where's mama at? Your mama? Where's your cousin? Like, where are your support system that can help you take care of these kids? Where's the village? Okay, like, stop being out here. Well, I got to pick up the kids from school. Why your husband can't pick up them kids from school sometime? I get it. He may have a strenuous job and all of this other kind of stuff. But, babe, I need you to pick up these kids on Mondays. Cousin, I need you to pick up these kids on Tuesdays. Mama, I need you to pick up these kids on Wednesdays. And I got the rest of the week. Like, make this thing work. Just don't give up on you. And, like, you have to learn all of this in therapy. And a therapist can help you sort through all of this. And a therapist, when you bring this to your husband and you're like, the husband's like, I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? She just tripping. I'm trying to ask her. She ain't telling me. And then you go to the therapist. Y'all can work out this within marriage counseling. If he know that from the beginning, before y'all get married, my wife got aspirations of being a nurse. Well, in the beginning of our marriage, I'm going to work, do what I got to do. And then at this certain point in my marriage, my wife is I'm going to step in and help out a little bit more. And I'm going to let my wife do what it is that she wants to do. Or if you all can do it simultaneously, like y'all can do it that way. But you cannot give up on your dreams just for your family. You're going to be bitter. Believe it or not, you will be bitter. And I know y'all like, Danielle, you might, no, I'm not. Trust me. I work with 60 and 70-year-old women. Bitter. Children are gone. Husband didn't accomplish everything that they didn't accomplish at the expense of a wife. Husband, don't do that. Husbands, don't allow your wife to do that. Don't allow your spouse to do that. As the head of your household, check on what it is that your spouse has that she wants to do or he or she wants to do. What are their dreams and what are their aspirations? Like, ask them that. Keep up with that. Okay, so I did this for this year or 2 years. Now it's your time to do this for this 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So you was the domiciliary parent. You was the primary parent. Now I'm gonna become the primary parent and you go and do what it is that you want to do. Like, it just cannot be one-sided. This is a teamwork. And y'all will learn a lot of this in therapy. How do we make it work? How do we bring this team together? You know, how do we make our team work? How do we come as a family? A lot of y'all be talking about this table and stuff like that. What she bring to the table, what he bring to the table. No, what we can do to the table ourselves. What can we build? And you can't have one person carrying the load all the way by herself, his or herself. How can you help? It's a partnership. Marriage is a partnership. That's all it really is. It's not, to tell you the truth, it's not even about love. Because you fall out of love. A lot of times, oh, I love him. Okay. That's it. That's going to fade. At some point, that may fade away. Believe it or not, ask your grandparents that you believe so much. Like, were you always in love with grandma and grandpa at the same time? No, I didn't like them for a couple of years. Maybe even a decade. Well, how did you make it? We just made it. Bruh, no. You can't do that. You got to be better. You have to do better. You got to be able to explain this stuff. Like, you want your children to see both parents thriving. Not one parent gave up their dreams so the other parent can go and do their thing. You don't want that. So, therapy, I can't stress that enough. Go to therapy. Go to individual therapy. Go to marriage counseling together where y'all work on this thing together so that y'all can understand communication styles, how you communicate, what it is that person wants, and so that y'all can build one foundation, learn each other's expectations, okay? Because we go into marriage and you think that the other person know your expectation and they have no idea what you want from them. Because you never communicated that with them. Communication is key, and understanding how that person communicates is the important factor. If I know my husband communicate better through writing, I'm going to write, okay? Babe, I don't think this working. I don't think this and that. And he needs to learn my style. Well, Danielle gonna want to talk to me, so I'm gonna have to talk. I tell her, she writes. I used to have a couple that had a notebook, no lie. Until they could get it together when they was verbally talking, they were writing in a notebook. It would be on the counter. They were writing in a notebook. And when they was arguing, the argument would be in the notebook. Misspelled words and everything. You know what I'm saying? But finally, they got to the point to where they can verbally communicate with themselves. And it works. Their marriage is great. And another thing before I get up off here, stop saying that but I only want to go to a marriage counselor because I only want to work with somebody who is married. You are missing out on people who are not married. And they can give you some of the greatest, especially if they're trained. Let me say this. If they are trained individuals, which your girl is, trained individual who really and truly can help you understand the marriage as a whole. Help you understand what marriage is. A lot of y'all getting in marriages don't even know what it is. Can we talk? Like, you don't even know what marriage really is. Oh, I love him. Love is not enough. If somebody come up in here and say, I love him, babe, what else? What else you got? Come on, give me something else. Because that's not enough. It's not enough to love somebody. Because that love, you fall out of love easy. So if you basing your foundation off of love, what happened in the what happened in a couple of months when you fall out of love? Or what happened when something happens and you have to forgive? What happens then? When you have to forgive from a place of where it's hard. And I mean true forgiveness. Because some of y'all walking around here talking about some of y'all forgive. Y'all don't forgive them people. Like, but I believe that a lot of people don't go to marriage counseling because it's tough. It reveals to you everything, okay? It reveals some ugly truth. And it'll reveal some ugly truth about your own individual family too. And it's difficult. But sometimes it be difficult for me as a therapist. I be like, bruh, y'all, what we got today? Y'all all right? Y'all all right? Danielle, no, I ain't all right. I got to tell you. Wait till I tell Danielle this. Whew, bruh. I be like, damn, bro. Like, yo, we gonna make it? Like, sometimes I'll be over here like, shit, we gonna make it today? I don't know. But then we come back because there's beauty in the struggle. Because we done worked through that ugly thing. And they come back and they be like, I'm glad we went through this. You know, it's like you said, what she said, and it gets ugly, but you work for what you want. Yes. And you start working through this thing. And you, like, marriage is a beautiful thing. Like, I don't want nobody to think that marriage is not. Marriage is a beautiful thing if you work for it. Time out for these mystical, magical, fairy tale weddings that we have learned about. That ain't marriage. That is a fairy tale. Marriage is work. You got two individual people who are trying to come together. And a lot of times, if you are a traditional marriage where the husband is the head of the household, you have females, i.e. me, myself, that has had to be independent for so long. And so now I need to be submissive to a man. You like, shit, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? I got to be what? I need to be what? And then you got to understand what the true definition of submissive is. And then then a lot of times y'all want to be submissive to a man who ain't even worth being submissive to. Come on. A lot of women have to lead because the man is not choosing to lead. Believe it or not, somebody asked me, somebody had said, oh, Danielle, you're going to have a hard time submitting to a husband. No, I'm not. Believe it or not, baby, believe it or not, no. I will submit to the right one, the one that is ready to lead. I'm a boss because I have to be a boss at work. When I get to the house, that is not what I want to be. I want to be a helpmate, okay? let me be real. Like, I want to be a helpmate. But will I struggle in the beginning learning how to be submissive to a man? Yes. Point blank period. Because I've been in this role for so long. But that's when I go to therapy and I start learning and understanding. That's when pastoral counseling really would come in. Because now I'm learning. I'm understanding what it takes to be a submissive wife. What is a true definition of a submissive wife? Like, that's when pastoral counseling start really and truly coming into place. When we start needing to learn our roles and get an understanding of what our roles are. But you got to know enough about yourself to know that can you do this or can you not do this? You know? But you got to know enough. That's what therapy is all about, bro. Pastoral counseling too as well. Like I said, I think that you need both. You need all three of them in order for it to work. You need all three of them. You need individual, you need marriage, and you need pastoral. What it said, a 3 card is not easily broken. You need all three of them in order for you to start off on a strong foundation. Especially, like, yo, I'm telling you, all of this stuff is stuff that we need. So that's all I got for y'all on today. I'm gonna go up here and read some of these comments. Shout out to you, Miss Williams Bradford, who just got married. Congratulations. Okay, so excited. I'm happy for y'all. Come on here. Black love, I love it. What else y'all got? So, Priest Danny. Yes, you're right. So, yes, marriage is worth fighting for. Like, it really and truly is. But you got to take two people who are willing to fight. I cannot fight by myself. Cannot fight for this marriage to work. And if you're not willing to fight with it, you got to find somebody who is really, everybody, oh, you need to be in love. You need to find somebody that's going to love you. No, I need to find somebody that's going to fight with me, who don't mind getting in the mud. You know what I'm saying? You know, like who don't mind getting in the mud, who don't mind fighting with me, who don't mind building for the kingdom with me, because I'm a Christian. So we got to figure out what it is our role in this whole kingdom building process. How can our marriage glorify God? What can come from this covenant to glorify God? So we got to know. I got to know if you can, and I got to know if you can lead. Like I'm a piece of work at times. Okay? And I need to know if you can handle it. And I need to know if you can be like, Danielle, sit down, be quiet. I'm be like, yeah, okay. I might talk a little under my breath, but if you the right king, I'll be like, all right, babe, I'm gonna sit down. Okay, like let's just be real. But a true king will not abuse his authority. Point blank, period. And he will be a protector. Okay? A true king will not abuse his authority. And a true king will see what qualities his queen has, and he will highlight them. So, okay, I need to be checked this out. Girl, do I? Yes, we need to be checking sometimes, okay? I need them check, and I need a man that is able to check me. Because some of y'all ain't out here able to check me, because I'd be like, who you talking to, sir? What you not finna do? But if the right king come through and be like, Danielle, all right, I'ma sit down. I'ma be all right. But that's when you know you can't submit to that person. If he can't check you, or if you know you just like, Because like every man cannot lead you. That's not your husband. If he doesn't even have a plan. If a man, for me, a man has to have a plan. He got to tell me where we're going. He got to have some insight. He may not have the full plan, but he got an insight of where we going. He can tell me, communicate that with me. This is where we're going. This is where, he can even say, I feel like this is where the Lord is leading us to. And I'm going to say, you feel like that's what the Lord, or you're 100% sure? If he say I'm 51% sure, I'm getting right behind him and be like, that's what the Lord, that's what my husband says. Because trust, if he hears that and he really thinks that that's the voice of the Lord will correct him if it's not. But again, you got to be willing. So the Lord will not lead him astray. Period. The Lord will not lead him astray. You know what I'm saying? For me, I have to respect. That's it. You do. You have to respect in order to submit. Yep. Like, yo, we need to have more conversations like this, especially as African American women who are labeled as tough to get along with, who are labeled as they don't want to submit. They won't submit. You won't submit. Somebody told me that, like, you gonna have a problem with submitting. I'm just like, you don't even know me. You really don't know me. Because if you did, you know I wouldn't. But I have to feel protected enough to submit. I have to feel like you love me. Like the words on this wall: freedom, safety, love, and belong. In order for a woman to submit, she have to feel like you will protect her. She has to feel like that she can be vulnerable. A lot of marriages, girl, I'm gonna go there. A lot of these marriages that I see or that I hear, if you can't be vulnerable in your marriage, why are you even married? Like, really? And really and truly, if I can't be vulnerable with my spouse, if I can't be naked, not physically, but emotionally naked with you, I can't be married to you. I can't. I can't, because I'm supposed to be able to be vulnerable. I'm supposed to be able to be naked with you, and you vice versa. You're supposed to be that with each other. Like she said, he is my safe place. He is my safe zone. Yes. And you are his. So if I can't do that, you have to make me feel like I'm protected. Men, if you men watching this, you have to make that woman feel like she is protected and she is safe to be able to be that vulnerable with you. And if you don't do that, it's not going to work. Your marriage is always going to be rocky. But you got to learn some of this stuff. You know, some of this stuff is learned as you go. But when you start, vulnerability is so hard for people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that has to be worked through. Like, and you need to be able to work through it with the coach or, you know, your pastor. Like, especially, I think that for me, vulnerability is something that I'm working on with my therapist. And he tells me that all the time. Yeah, you got to be vulnerable. How can you be vulnerable? Pick a time to be vulnerable. I'm like, bro. But I know that much about myself, and I know about myself how the environment that needs to be in order for me to be vulnerable. Like, in order for me to be vulnerable with somebody, I know that they have to be full attention to me. Like, you got to be able to pay attention to me. You got to be engaged in what I'm saying. You can't look this way. You can't look, like, you really and truly got to be like, Danielle, here's your undivided attention. That you need to be vulnerable. So I know that about myself. So I tell people about that. Tell people that. Told my friends that. And they were able to give me that. So, yes, ma'ams and yes, sirs. Yes, some men says boys want women to submit to foolishness. Girl, you ain't even got a plan for your own life, but you want that woman to submit. The heck, I know what I'm going to submit to. Like, and you have to be able to communicate what it is that you want her to submit to. A lot of times people are like, oh, I got a plan. So what's the plan? Again, remember, understand her communication style too. So you got to be able to, and trust me, and if she does not submit, or if she does not understand your plan, that's when you go back to the Lord and you tell the Lord, talk to my wife, talk to my husband, or whatever, because, you know, you can be same sex or whatever, but you can easily say, talk to them and get them to understand what you're calling me to, and the Lord will speak to them and they will submit automatically. But you got to be a man enough to know that she not submitting to me. Let me go to God and let me bring it back. And that way we can all be on one accord. Because sometimes God do has to speak directly to the woman for her to understand, you know, especially, like I said, especially like somebody like me, because I'm not used to that. God still has to work with me on that. So God would still have to come talk to me, be like, girl, do what that man tell you to do. And I'd be like, okay, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, understand that. But hey, that is just my 2 cents. Again, please, I can't stress this enough. Therapy. I can't stress that enough. Therapy. Please, I beg you. And if you have Medicaid will pay for individual therapy. Most insurance companies will pay for individual therapy. Now, they may not pay for marriage counseling, but if you can get you a therapist that can work with you, get you one. Invest in your marriage. Invest in your relationship. Stop saying, oh, that's too high. No, you are investing in your future. It's worth it. It's worth it to go to marriage counseling. It's really worth it, y'all. It's worth it to start on a strong foundation and not a weak one, not one that has cracks. Because understand, when you don't start on a strong foundation and you build a house up on a weak foundation, 2 things are going to happen. Major repairs to the house, or either you're going to have to tear the house down and start back over. A lot of people's houses are having to be torn down to start back over because the foundation was not strong. So, I just want you to start on a strong foundation. Don't start on a weak one that has cracks and usually when a house has to be torn down, you don't make it because that's divorce. But when it has to be major renovations in the house, and you have to tear a lot of that stuff down, but it's not everything, that's a broken place. That's one of the lowest places that the marriage can ever go. Like, I've seen it. I've worked with people at the lowest point, and every day they coming in to see me, and I'm just like, shit, it's the day. It's the day today. You may not work. You know, you may or you may not work. Yes, you can come back from that, but it's going to, like I said, it's going to take a lot down. God is going to tear you down to the bones of the house, like to the wood, like really and truly tear everything down, and he going to have to start back over. You don't want that for your marriage, because they can take years to fix. They can take years versus get you 6-7 months, get you a year. I used to tell people, do it for a year. Do it for a year. Go ahead and get married. You know, after that or whatever. Or do it during your first year of marriage. Like, really and truly go there during your first year of marriage. Don't just get married and don't work on yourself or work on your marriage. It's super important. So, nonetheless, that's all I got for y'all on today. That is my soap opera. That is my box. That's the hill I'm going down. Okay. Nonetheless, love y'all. I pray for y'all marriages. I pray that y'all are strong married. I pray for the people who are not married too. Okay. For us single folks, I pray that we do the work while we wait for our spouses. Okay. Nonetheless, love y'all. Bye.